Okay, we're back, and this lesson is about relationship compatibility on Venus, Trine, Venus. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is because a lot of people are under the impression that their relationships are based on each other's sun signs. Like people will be like, I go out with a Pisces, I'm a Sag, I hear about their emotions, I don't know what I should do, I don't think this is going to work. Anybody got any pointers, right? And little do they know, like, that is not going to determine whether or not you guys get along as far as love goes, all right? And not only that, however, somebody else requested that I do a video based on relationship compatibility, and I have yet to do that on this channel yet. So I just want to put it out there. This is going to be an example. I'm going to set an example of how this actually works, so you can get an idea of what you are about to get into if you do want to get a compatibility reading for you and someone that you're dealing with, all right? Now, the way that I was able to obtain this Venus versus Venus, well, first let me say this, right? I'm doing Venus versus Venus trine because this is a focused exercise. The way I do astrology is, and you may see it framed other places to where they'll say relationship compatibility and they'll give you a quick fix and they'll say, okay, this is the positive aspect. And then they'll show you Venus squared Uranus, or Venus opposition Uranus or something like that, and it'll show you, or no, Mercury opposition Uranus, and it'll show you where struggling, aspects are coming from. And it's like, but that's based on a whole totally different topic. It's not based on love. So what I do is I make the focus be on love, money, and attractiveness, right? Which are the attributes that are associated with Venus. So I keep it more focused and central, so it's not like a general statement that's too broad for you to understand the way that you're trying to love your partner. Because you can talk about aspects that deal with, let's say you want to know about political opinions of your partner and how they feel about that, and how it pertains to government and business structure and stuff like that. Then you would want to look at an aspect such as like Saturn and Mercury, okay, because you're going to be speaking to your partner about these things, and it doesn't necessarily pertain to how you guys love each other. You know what I mean? Like, you guys may be super attracted to each other, but if he's a Republican and you're a Democrat, for example, then you can't stand him, right? So you want to figure something out like that. Does that mean that you're not going to love your guy anymore or your girl anymore? Who knows? But you'll come into knowing better the way that I do it, I feel anyway, because I use that focus. I channel all the focus on what it is exactly that you want to look at. So when people say love compatibility, I'm going straight for Venus. I'm going straight for Venus, and it's good because finances are involved, and everybody wants to talk about love, don't have nothing to do with money and all of that. You're mistaken. So with that being said, let me continue to go further. Now, before I put this diagram up, it's going to be a diagram that shows you how it's graphed on a chart so you don't get confused. I removed there's no additional signs posted everywhere and glyphs and stuff with degree numbers so you can get confused. It's real straight to the point and simplified, all right? And I'm going to say that this Venus trine Venus is pretty much the strongest that you can get because it's exact, all right? So this example is going to be a powerful love relationship. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is catch you up to speed first by explaining what these numbers mean, all right? You should be familiar with what Aries and Leo means, though of course those are the zodiac signs. Now, the numbers pertain to the number of degrees that the planet Venus is written in the purple pinkish color, that associates with the degree numbers, okay? And it's 30 degrees in each sign. So these pinkish purple marks represent how many degrees Venus is in each one of these signs, okay? So it's 24.34 degrees in Aries, and it's 24.43 degrees in Leo. Now that orb thing that's titled up at the top, 0.11, I'm going to get into that right now. Okay, this pairing has amazing chemistry. First, because it is as close to being exact as you can get, because the orb is under 1 degree. Now, the way that you come up with the orb is you subtract one number from the other. So pretty much you subtract 24.43. You subtract 24.34, excuse me, from 24.43. You come up with 0.11 orb. Now, what an orb is just an allowance of degrees separated from one aspect from the other, which determines its strength. Okay. And for specific aspects, there are different ones. There are trines, there are squares, and there are sextiles. Those are the most popular. You have a certain amount of degrees that they can be apart, and then you have an orb allowance, which signifies what amount of degrees is allowed to consider them strong and consider them weak. Okay, so the least amount of orb makes it stronger, makes it exact. So the closer the numbers are to each other, as you see, 24.34 and 24.43, it means that the strength is even stronger because it's almost exact. All right. Now for a trine, there is about an 8-degree orb allowance. So, and other astrologers use different numbers. Sometimes they may say that that's just too much, you know what I mean? But I haven't seen anything above 8 degrees. So this is a strong relationship, as I'm saying, pertaining to love, finances, and attractiveness. Now, desire and determination levels to earn a high income are present for this duo. If Venus in Leo can accept that Venus in Aries is inspired by new love, which may come in form of another partner through a new venture, because projects can also be love too, or through that partner, which is Venus in Leo, in a rekindling sense, then this can become very fruitful. Now, the reason why I say that is because they both have Venus as planets, it does not mean that they necessarily operate the same way. And the thing that differentiates them is the signs that they are in. They have different styles because of the signs that they're in. All right, now if Venus in Aries can understand that high initiative produces high wealth, which it does in that placement, which in return can provide the atmosphere the Venus and Leo partner is found attractive in, it acts as a cooperative mechanism apart from their self-centeredness, because Venus in Aries is self-centered. Okay, they dive into love quickly, okay, and then they dive right out just as quickly as they can. And it's not that they don't love you anymore, right? But it looks like that. It's just that they need something to renew that spirit, that energy, for them to come back. All right. So that's basically what it is. It's a timeout to them. Now, Venus in Leo, on the other hand, is extravagant. They are attractive in the extravagant places, in the social places, right? So in order for them to be compatible, get what I'm saying here, in order for them to be compatible, they have to be able to show up to this place together. Okay, because that's what compatibility is about. That's what love is about. That's what attractiveness is about. Now, in a deeper sense, we're talking about together, right? But on the surface, we're talking about alone. So we can look at this from an observational aspect as well and say, okay, well, I see how that Venus and Leo looks in, social places and everything. And, I don't necessarily have to be there, but I respect that that's how they operate. You know what I mean? And vice versa, the Venus and Leo can do the same to them. However, we're talking about compatibility here, and we're talking about when people want to be together. So this is why I'm putting this scenario in the way that it is. Now, because Venus in Aries has the high potential to make high income, then they need to utilize that, or they should utilize that. They could utilize that to provide those atmospheres for the Leo and Venus. Now, does this mean that Venus and Aries is going to pay the bill, or who knows? That leaves us to an extended version of how this plays out, right? I'm just giving you the fundamentals of where they're at with it and how they can make it work, and also the difficulties that they will face because of the separatism. Like, you have to look at this from an observational point as well. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know what houses these individuals have their Venus in their natal chart. See, because of where their planets are placed, that creates the aspect which I'm talking about now. However, when they are born, they have these planets in different houses. Okay, and this is exactly why I didn't label the names of the houses on this chart, because it would confuse you into thinking that that's how it is when they were born compared to where it is right now, and that's not the case. It just explains what houses, what signs that the planets are placed in. Okay, hope that makes sense. If not, get in the comment box and I will definitely clear that up for you. Now, so I say that to say this: their individual life paths will give more insight into how they can make money and how they can, associate themselves with their partners more than the actual aspect does. This just shows, what's possible, more of what the potential is. Okay, so now I'm going to go further. I'm going to finish this and dip back into the observational aspect. From the observational aspect, Venus and Leo will be frustrated with Venus and Aries, not being able to suppress the break-even analysis. Meaning, Venus and Aries is the same way they jump into love is sometimes how they jump into their wallets, because when they're excited about something, they'll go and they'll spend it because they made it like that. They get a windfall and they're like, okay, I got a lump sum of money, I'm going to spend it now, right? And because of Venus and Leo's mindset is, they have a drive and determination for high wealth. And when, I'm going to get to that later, it does not necessarily mean they're going to obtain it. However, they have that drive. So if they're looking at their partner and the way that they operate financially, they're going to say to themselves, if they are privy to this information, well, you keep going broke, or what I call the break-even analysis, because it's not like you don't know how to earn. It's not that you can't earn. It's that you don't retain enough earnings to show and prove that you actually have wealth. You just only are showing that you have the ability to create wealth or generate wealth. Okay, so that may cause a frustration in Venus and Leo if they see Venus and Aries just spending it as quick as they make it. They will have to save first, Venus and Aries, then research before taking financial risks in order to match their partner's criteria, who is the Venus and Leo. Now, Venus and Aries will be frustrated at Venus and Leo for spending other people's money, debt, and overemphasis on their ego. Okay, these are the hindrances of Venus and Leo. Now, like I said, they have the qualities of the drive and the determination to obtain higher amounts of wealth. And depending on what house their Venus is placed in their natal chart, it may amplify this more or it may detract, it may take away from it. So this is what I mean about making an extended version of a love compatibility reading. Okay, but like I said, I'm keeping it on the surface. And these are the hindrances of Venus and Leo, because they are extravagant spenders as well. Okay, because they have to have the top high quality things, and they want to be they want to be the center of attention too. All right, they're not necessarily self-centered in the fact that they like to isolate in their movements and things like that. They're highly social. They're in the social scenes. They like to be around people. So in order to do that, you have to be able to have a way to balance your wealth so that you're not a hindrance to your own self. And by taking on too much debt or, spending other people's money and, using it for egotistical purposes to be seen in that spotlight in those places, this will frustrate the Venus and Aries because they'll see that it is a fault to them. So they will either have to budget or reach that high level of income on their own, like generate that high level of income that they're capable of reaching on their own in order to match their partner's criteria. Because Venus and Aries is going to look at it like, okay, well, you're spending other people's money, doing what you could possibly do on your own. You know what I mean? And depending on their placement in their natal chart, like I said again, maybe it behooves them to spend other people's money. This is what we do not know though yet. So we can't really give that extended version of this reading. Ultimately, understanding of each other's styles will get them through, because that understanding that they see between each other that makes each other happy is enough to say, okay, I see that style that they have makes them happy. So since I understand that, I'm not going to be frustrated with them. But you got to understand, this is when it comes from the observational aspect, and it's more of I'm single and they're single. You understand what I'm saying? So at least it's not hurting me because we're not merging.